Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're going on a totally fascinating journey inside the human body, specifically to look at the basal seed voyage and how it's transforming digestion. We're going to see exactly how these incredibly tiny seeds completely rewire your internal mechanics. We'll be tracking the biological voyage of the basal seed, literally from the second you swallow them all the way to the end of the line in your gut.
So you know the drill. You've probably seen basil seeds swell up in a glass of water, right? They transform from these tiny, hard black specks into little translucent pearls. But the really interesting question is, what happens when soaked basil seeds actually reach your stomach? I mean, seeing them puff up in a glass is one thing, but their true power only gets unlocked once they hit the highly active, acidic environment of your digestive system.
Well, when these soaked seeds drop into your stomach, they absolutely do not go back to being dry or rigid. Instead, they remain remarkably swollen and gel-like. This is absolutely crucial. They survive that intense initial plunge into your stomach fluid, holding onto that exact same hydrated protective bubble they formed back in your glass. They basically hold their ground. And that structural integrity, that is the kickoff point for everything else that's about to happen.
Now, because they hold on to this unique, swollen state, the seeds spread very gently through the stomach fluid. This sets up the entire foundation for your digestion. They don't just clump together and sink to the bottom like a rock. No, they disperse. They beautifully mingle with the fluids already in there, creating this suspended, really consistent matrix inside your stomach. And this even distribution is a huge deal for how the rest of your meal is going to be processed.
This spreading out triggers a really cool chain reaction. Step 1, the seed's soluble fiber forms a soft gel layer. Step 2, that gel physically mixes with your stomach contents. And step 3, your food movement actually slows down. This right here is the core mechanical shift. The soluble fiber isn't just sitting there taking up space, it's actively changing the texture and the thickness of everything in your stomach. By weaving this gel into your food, the whole transit time gets artificially but wonderfully decelerated.
And this quote hits the nail on the head. Stomach emptying becomes more gradual, helping digestion stay steady and controlled. That's exactly why this matters to you. Because of that gel texture, your stomach emptying is delayed. It literally forces your digestion to stay steady and perfectly controlled. Instead of your stomach just aggressively dumping everything into the next phase all at once, the gel acts like a biological pacing mechanism. It smooths out the entire digestive workload over a much longer period.
At the exact same time, as the seeds continue to absorb fluid in this environment, they physically expand, which increases your stomach volume slightly. They are literally taking up physical real estate in there. And even though it's just a slight volume increase, the actual physical stretching of the stomach environment acts as a massive biological cue.
Which brings us to stretch receptors. These are the biological triggers in your stomach that activate when volume increases to signal fullness to the brain. So the crucial point here is that this slight expansion activates those stretch receptors, directly sending a "we're full" signal to your brain to keep your hunger completely at bay. Your stomach literally feels the physical expansion of these gel seeds and tells your brain, hey, we've got enough volume down here, we're good. You're achieving balanced fullness just through the mechanical expansion of seeds holding water rather than having to eat a ton of heavy calories. It's kind of like a biological life hack.
So, what does this actually mean for your day-to-day life? Well, as digestion slows down, nutrients enter your bloodstream gradually, leading to a much smoother energy release after meals. It acts just like a drip feed. Because that gel matrix is emptying so slowly and steadily, you avoid that sudden massive flood of nutrients that causes a crazy energy spike. And more importantly, you completely bypass that miserable energy crash that usually follows. It's all about sustained, steady fuel for your body.
Now, as this gel mixture finally makes its way into the intestines, the fiber steps up to support normal movement. So instead of sudden pressure or uncomfortable slowing, everything travels smoothly. Digestion can be super erratic, right? Sometimes it moves way too fast, causing sudden pressure, or it grinds to a halt and causes serious discomfort. But the fiber from the basil seeds acts as a normalizing agent here. It acts as a guide, keeping everything moving through the intestinal tract at a really consistent, comfortable pace.
And honestly, this final mechanical effect is probably the most crucial. Because the seeds hold on to water so incredibly well, fluid balance is maintained inside your digestion, which directly supports softer stool formation. Think about that original water they soaked up back in your glass. They are still holding on to a lot of it, all the way down in your intestines. By trapping that moisture, they stop your digestive tract from pulling too much water out of the waste, which, as we all know, is the #1 cause of being completely backed up.
So to wrap up this incredible little biological voyage, if eaten regularly and properly soaked, basil seeds support steady digestion, balanced fullness, and smoother gut movement.
It's basically a three-pronged optimization of your internal plumbing, and it all stems from the simple, soluble fiber and fluid retention of just one single type of tiny seed. Pretty amazing, right?
It really leaves you with a massive question. If a single seed can engineer such a massive shift in your biological mechanics, what other daily food choices are secretly transforming your internal health right now? Every single meal is a set of instructions you're giving to your biology. If just soaking a tiny basil seed can so fundamentally upgrade how you process energy and maintain fluid balance, well, just imagine the power you have over your daily health when you start paying real attention to the mechanics of your food. Keep exploring, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next Explain.